up at night today, these days? For instance, I myself have spent a disproportionate amount of time worrying about the American election, to the point I could have written a novel myself if I had the talent. Do you go about worrying about the future too much, or rather taking life as it comes?
Yeah, I worry about the future. I've always worried about the future. I think that it's a combination. For me personally, it's a combination between. I'm in these times when people are so pessimistic about the future. I'm probably one of the few people who are quite optimistic about the future, but not in the short term. Definitely not for the next 4 years. But I think long term, if you look at history, we're on the right track. I think civilization is on the right track. Of course, we have to deal with problems like the climate crisis and the increasing population of the world. But I think if you look at the history of the last 100 or 200 years, we are, statistically, we are killing each other to a lesser and lesser degree. There are fewer percentage of the population being killed by other people now than there was, 200 years ago. And this is a trend. I mean, this is a trend, and I mean, there are always the sad stories about, civilization, but I mean, if you look at a few things, for example, the fact that humanity at some point in quite recent history decided that slavery, and there's many thousand years tradition of having slaves. At one point, we just decided that let's not do that anymore. I mean, worldwide. I mean, there was like no economic motive not to have slavery, but we decided that let's drop that, and we did that. And that's, when you think about that, that's quite amazing. And I think that is, generally speaking, and in the long term, that is the direction in which our civilization is moving. So my optimism tells me that right now the American election and the wars that we are seeing in the Middle East and in Europe, those are definitely serious setbacks, but I'm not willing to let that stop my optimism for civilization in general.
Το τελευταίο δικό μου ερώτημα ήταν το τι κρατά ξάγρυπνο τον Τζον Νέσμπο τις νύχτες, τι ανησυχεί, τι τον ανησυχεί αναφορικά με το μέλλον. Απαντά ότι είναι αισιόδοξος, ότι βραχυπρόθεσμα ναι, τα πράγματα ίσως να μην μοιάζουν καλά, είτε σε ό,τι αφορά τους πολέμους που γίνονται γύρω μας, είτε διάφορα πράγματα που συμβαίνουν στην πολιτική σφαίρα. Ωστόσο και τα προβλήματα που υπάρχουν με το κλίμα, τον υπερπληθυσμό κτλ. Αλλά αν αναλογιστούμε την ιστορία των τελευταίων 200 ετών, έχουν γίνει σημαντικά άλματα. Η κοινωνία προχωράει προς τα πάνω, παρότι σε βραχυπρόθεσμο επίπεδο δεν μας φαίνεται έτσι. Should we take a few audience questions?